Yeah. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step to. Yeah, we back. Dope Black Dad. We are back for another episode. I know I've kind of been off the past couple of weeks. I think I'm off a week on my episodes on my consistency drop, but we back. We back up and kicking things back off to the way that they're supposed to be. And I'm excited to be back. You all have no idea. I'm excited to be back. I've had people reach out and say, bro, you dropping any more episodes? What's going on with you? And I am here. And I created a post yesterday on Facebook just to kind of segue into what's been going on in my world, what's been going on in life. As always, I just want to start this episode by telling everybody thank you for listening, thank you for sharing, thank you for rocking with me. Um, if you did not see our last episode, which was our YouTube channel drop that talked about teaching is my choice, and it featured two educators right here in Jacksonville. Great young men, great young men. I think you need to go back and watch it out. So I appreciate Mr. Andrew Lodge for coming through on the last episode, and Mr. Gustavo. I appreciate you, young man, for coming in and rocking with us on that episode. So I hope you've had fun with that. Um, so we are here, and I'm going to just jump right back into today's episode um, and just talk. I rarely have a script. I definitely don't have a script here. So this is just a talk straight from the heart, a talk straight from life, man. When I started this podcast, I talked about it before. It was very challenging, not for me to talk because I'm someone who loves to talk, but for me to be 100% honest and come out of performing because I felt like there was a lot of performing, there's a lot of performance in the world of conversation. But one thing I wanted to do, and I told myself if I was going to do this, Marcus, you have to be authentic first. And by being authentic first, you have to be willing to share the ups in your life, and you have to be willing to share the downs in your life as well, so people can understand and relate to you and see that, oh, he's tangible. He's not talking from a unrealistic point of view. He's not talking from a seat of, that doesn't really happen, but he's talking from a sense of connecting. And that's my whole point, as trying to connect to individuals and connect to young men and connect to men in general, my age, younger and older. I'm 40 right now. So I believe that I kind of sit in the pendulum. Like I can kind of swing with both sides of the table. I can kind of swing forward and have respect and talk to the elders who may be 50, 60, 70 plus years old, but I'm also still connected to the point where I can swing back and talk to the younger generation who's probably in those 30, 20s, and teens age. So I think I'm in a good point in my life to try to mesh the best of both worlds together with the old school and the new school and having those conversations. And it takes a lot. So today's episode is called, it's titled The Perfect Storm. And the hmm, the reason why this is titled The Perfect Storm is because I've recently I've experienced something in my life that I've never experienced before. Um, and I'm gonna walk us back. You all know I love storytelling. I love the art of storytelling. So I'm gonna give you where we are, and I'm gonna give you how we got to that point. So right now I'm at a place where things are just brewing, and it's a place that I've never been in my life. Um, I've I've been in situations where my work may have had issues and I may have been struggling and hit different low areas as it relates to work and professionalism. Not professionalism, but just professional. I stay keep my professionalism up as much as possible. Um, but personally, I've been good. So, but because I'm good, my personal life, it helps me deal better with my work life. And I've had situations where personal life has been iffy and been struggled and things has not been going the way that I wanted it to. But work life had kind of been able to keep me sane and keep me going because it gave me an avenue to keep me busy in things that I like to do, things that I love to do. And so it gave me time to separate, to deal with, to give me a breather from dealing with one and then having to deal with the other. I had a breathing point. But this is the first time in my life where work life and my personal life has came crashing at the same time. And so now I'm faced with a situation where what do I do when my work life is seeming to be crashing and I'm in a situations or in a place professionally that I've never been in before. And my work and my personal life is hitting me now and and I find myself in a situation that I've never been in before. And that's where I came up with this is like the perfect storm. And if you are movie watching, and there was a movie way back when, not way back when, but there was a movie called The Perfect Storm, and it referenced some fishermen up north who went out to do to catch fish, and that's what their thing. They went out and they fished. That was their thing, and then while them being out there, they got caught up in I think it was 3 or 4 different hurricanes had crashed at the same time, and they found themselves in the middle of that perfect storm as the newscasters was calling it. And unfortunately, none of the sailors survived the storm. Um, Similar situation, but I'm planning on having a different, outcome, a survival mentality throughout all of this. But I just wanted to give that backdrop or connection to a movie. Like I told you guys before, in my life, I believe everything is connected to a movie or a song. So that's what it was connected to for me for that movie right there. So so let me take you back and bring you here. So I was in my job, I have a team of people that I lead in my job. And I went into my year um wanting to lead my team a certain way, and I thought I was leading my team in a certain way that was beneficial. One thing about my job believes in feedback. We're very big on feedback. And a moment in time came where my team gave feedback about me as a manager. It was it was what's the word? It was secretive feedback. Like they met with my boss to give feedback about how they were experiencing working with me. Anonymous feedback is what I want to say. And so I had a meeting with my boss to talk about the feedback that my team had gave them about me, and it was not good feedback. I had two choices in that situation. Am I one going to be offended by what is being said because a lot was being said, or am I going to sit here, listen to it, and find the truth in whatever it could be? And one thing that was beautiful about it is I never wanted to know who said what, because sometimes we think we want to know who's saying certain things about us, but that's not always good to know who's saying certain things about us, because we will immediately start to attack the person, and we will never hear the reality or hear the truth in what is being said about us. So we try to attack the person, and you never attack yourself to change. So I never asked, or I don't think I was even going to be given the option to know. I never asked or never inquired about who said what. So I sat and I listened to all of the feedback that was given back. And I was taking notes, writing things down, looking for trends, looking for common trends that was going on and what was being said. Because one thing that I was taught as growing up is that, one person saying something about you, it could be a one off. That person could be having a bad day. You just could be rubbing them things the wrong way. But if now we're at two, three people are now starting to say the same exact thing about you, and they're not even in cahoots about it, they're talking about their experience with you. Regardless of what my intentions were, regardless of what I thought I was doing, it does not downplay their intentions, or it does not downplay how their experience with me made them feel. So now I had two choices: make moves or make excuses. So I decided to make some moves. I decided that it was time for me to sit down, look at these notes in your feedback, and go back and make changes. And so for me, as Marcus, it meant that I had to cancel out everything that I thought was working, go back to the drawing board of everything that I thought was going to be the best method for me to teach them, for me to lead them. But I had to be open with myself and say, no, bro, it's not working. What you may have thought was a good plan, obviously it's not working. For 75% of your team, it is not working. And so I went back, I made adjustments, and it hurt. Because I felt like I was doing good. I felt like I was doing good. And so I went back, I made some adjustments, and from there, I went back and I had a meeting with my team. And I told them that, I received the feedback from everybody, and I went back and I rescheduled and realigned everything of how we was going to operate, and giving them a sense of autonomy in their development. Because sometimes we feel like the way we teach is the way that everybody should receive it. But sometimes if you are the teacher, or if you are the trainer, or if you are the manager or the one in charge, sometimes you have to change your methods to get to reach the people who are you're trying to reach. That was one thing with me when I was in the classroom. I had to take a different approach for different students. There were certain strategies that you could use to do your multiplication tables, but this method may not work for these students. So as a teacher, I can sit here and get frustrated and say, this is the only way that you're going to get it is my way, or I can come up with two or three other ways for you to get this. As a parent that works with my girls, yeah, I can say that I want you to get it this way, but you might get it, but I got three more of you. What works for one does not work for all. And I think as men, as leaders, we have to make sure that we are being adjustable and flexible and pliable and teachable enough to say, hey, this not working. This not working for my family. This not working for my job. And I have to kill my pride and say, okay, I need to go somewhere and learn another way, another method, so that the production can be had. And so that's what I did. And so had that meeting with my team, and we continued to go. And that was a very hard point in my life professionally, because now I have to readjust. I've never did that. Like I've never did that. Like usually, if people are starting to tell me something about me, I'm offended and I want to know what's going on. So, boom, let's get it. So I went back and I made adjustments, even though I may have felt uncomfortable, even though I did not like it. But that was a very hard part for me professionally. And now I even have my boss maybe looking at me to see how does Marcus respond when he's faced with this challenge. And I had to go back and say, well, Marcus, there's some things that you just really have not been doing, bro. Like I had to take 100% ownership of what they were saying and go back and make these necessary changes. And that's what I did. And like I'm still in, and this was a couple of some months ago. And I'm not saying that right now everything is perfect. There's still some adjusting of some things that I had to go back and do. And I have to go back and build that trust and reestablish that trust with my teams because there were some areas that they felt that I wasn't supporting them. They felt that there were some things that I wasn't doing to be more personable with them. I was just always about the business. I never made things comfortable. So I had to go back, reinitiate conversations. I had to become 100% transparent with my life. Not 100%, but I had to show the human nature side of me for them to want to be relational with me. I had to be the initiator and I had to be consistent with it. And I had to give them the space and the time to build that trust with me. I couldn't do something one time and then just say, look, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do this. And y'all just still not, y'all rejecting me. No, I have to be patient and give people their time that they need to adjust, their time that they need to see if he's really about this or is this just a talk or is this just a show. And we've gained a lot of momentum with that. I'm gaining momentum with that. I'm building teams and, you know, I even started like, even with my podcast starting this, it was going good. And so personal life is going good. Work life is a little turmoil, but we working at it. We working at it, and I'm thinking we good. I got this podcast going. That was a big stretch for me because it was a challenge that coming behind and just talking and put my life in front of people, but I can see it moving. We got 3 episodes up under our belt. We got a 4th episode up under our belt. We got recordings going on. I got my YouTube channel going. I got we streaming on Spotify. We streaming on Castbox. We streaming on Apple Music. We streaming, and boom, boom. Now life says it's my turn, and like I said, I'm still striving, trying to get work back, and I'm striding and I'm getting there, and boom, life came and said again, it's my turn. And when life hit me this time, it hit me to a point where I never been hit before in my life. And it hurt. Um, it hurt. It completely knocked the wind out of me. And the first thing that it attacked it? That's not it. The first thing that it attacked was my pride. It attacked everything that I felt as my identity or something, a part of my identity that I felt like that I could stand on. Something that I felt like separated me from other people. And now that I'm sitting here looking at it, I'm like, that's a little bit of arrogance that needed to be shaken up out of you. That's a piece of arrogance that needed to be shaken out of you because you feel like because this has never been touched that you can low key hold that up in front of other people as a win-win that you have over them. And I did not know it. So when that thing hit me, everything crashed. And I found myself in a situation where I could not do anything. I was powerless. I was I think that's the biggest thing. I was powerless. And I was I was scared. And that's the biggest thing that I can say. I was scared. Um I had never been in this situation before since I had my neck surgery. And that put me in a place for the first time that I had ever contemplated suicide. But again, it was kind of easy to kind of go through that a little bit, not easy, but I didn't have that professional struggle going on. But now I got both of these storms going on. I'm hitting, I got the wind knocked out of me. And it's like, boy, what you finna do? And I'll say this, it is very important on how we treat and how we handle people when we, in the time where you might want to say where you're coming up. I think one of the best things, or one of the things that I try to hold to my value for myself, is how I treat people matters. I hold on to my faith. I am a Christian. I hold on to my faith. But one thing that I do believe and know, that people makes the world go round. And you have to be real careful on how you treat people, because you never know when you're going to need people to help you get out of a situation, especially when you find yourself in a situation that you've never been in a day in your life. Now, I'm telling you, when this situation hit me, I immediately clamped up. I immediately tried to protect myself. I immediately tried to hide myself. I was not trying to share nothing with anybody about it, but my pride and my insides were tore up. And I really had to decide, how am I going to respond to this? I listened to T Pain, and he did his cover album, and in the song it says, and the song is "That's Life." But at the beginning of it, he talks about how, did you really have a bad day, or did you have a bad day? Did you have a bad 5 minutes that you just talked about all day long? And in this situation, I did find myself, man, I was hurt. I was hurting. Um, and there's certain parts of it that I'm gonna come back on another episode and go back and do a lot of details. But I always like to cover other people when I'm going through my stuff too. I like to cover other people as well. But when I found myself in this, I was I couldn't do anything but cry, but I was so floored about the people who came to see about me. I was floored about the instant response of people who came to see about me and who was ready to just help. What you need, what you need. We got you. We got you. What you need, what you need. And again, my hands are tied. I can't do anything about anything. I have no resources right now. The only resource I have is people. And people were the one, in my faith, were the only one who came and got me out of this situation. And so now, when I'm looking at life, I'm looking at work, and I'm struggling to handle both of these situations. And I find myself again, why am I here? Why am I here in life? And that suicide thought came back again like it came back again. It came first in 2020 because now I feel like I can't control work. I can't control what's going on. I'm out of control with what's going on professionally. A piece of my identity, boom, snatched. I can't control what's going on right now personally. Piece of my identity scratched. And my family is hurting from this also. So I can't even protect my family right now. Another piece of my identity scratched. Why am I here? When the things that you feel like bring you the most value in life have now been stripped from you, you don't have a reason for being here. So you start to justify reasons for not being here. And as I'm going through these situations, I I was talking with my brothers, um, my oldest brother Craig. He he said real quick, and this is a quick joke. He said, my brother can be real safe when he want to be. He said, so you thought that you was about to just start a authentic, positive podcast that could really help not just people, but that could really help men and do some real good in this world. And you thought nothing was fit to come after you. And I'm sitting here like, no, I mean, I just thought that, I was just trying. He was like, listen, you thought that you was about to just go on and just do this peaceful thing and nothing was going to try to hinder you from doing this. He was like, boy, wake up. That's not going to happen. The real thing is, are you going to stay committed to this even while you're going through this? And that thing hit me. Like, I wanted to stay. Sometimes when we get in a funk, we want to sit in that funk. We want people to, I'm going to say baby us. We want people to feel bad for us. Like, man, come on, sit right here and be pissed off with me. But no, I ain't had nobody around me that sat around and was pissed off with me. Nobody rubbed my back. Everybody was like, bro, we got to get up. We got to go. We got to make this thing work. You say your faith is what keeps you going. You better pull on your faith and strap up yourself and let's go, because we got to make moves. And that's what was happening. And I continue to go through it, and the situation is not over with. It's still going on. I'm still working through it. But I'm learning so much. I'm learning so much about Marcus. That is ridiculous. I didn't know that there was another level of self-pride that I had to deal with. I didn't know that there was another level of selfishness that I had to deal with. I didn't know that I could be parenting or raising my kids another way than what I've been doing now. I didn't know that there was another way that I could be showing up for my job. I didn't know that there was another way that I could be showing up in my relationships. I did not know how selfish that I was or I could really be until this situation ripped another covering off my eyes. And I'm 40 years old. I'm 40. You would think by 40 you have a certain level of to you right now that you kind of got it. But I'll never forget. I told y'all that pendulum that swings. I'm 40, but I'd have some older gentlemen in my life who told me, when you turn 40, that's when your life really starts. And I ain't understand it. I ain't understand it at that time. I think I was like 35, 36, and he was like, "You ain't lived yet." He said, "When you turn 40, there's another level of life that you start to experience. And now that I'm 40, there's some things that I have not experienced in my life until I turn 40." I'm like, "Wait a minute, wait 1 minute. We want to wait till I turn 40 to start experiencing some of this stuff? We could have wrapped this up in our 30s and our 20s. But if I would experience it then, I wouldn't have been in a space to really learn and absorb it the way that it needed to be learned and absorbed. I would have still found a way to blame other people for my situations and not take self accountability for it. And that's one of the biggest things, even in this situation that I'm in right now. I've learned and I've accepted that there's a level of accountability and self accountability that Marcus has to take for himself in this situation. What role did you play in this? It's easy. It is so easy to find blame in everybody else, the role that everybody else played in the situation that you in. But can you sit back and now say, what did you do? What role did you play in this? What did you neglect? What was you not doing? What were you not watching? Where would you should have been? Should you have been somewhere else? You should have been doing this. What was your role in all of this, Marcus, that's caused you to be where you are right now? And that's what I'm doing in this self-evaluation period that I'm on right now. And because you all are listening to this podcast, you're going to be on this journey with me. What are you learning about yourself? What are you learning about yourself in this perfect storm that you say you're dealing with right now? Because if you don't figure it out right now, there's going to be another perfect storm that's going to come through, and you go learn the lesson. One thing about lessons of life, you go learn them. They go teach you, they go find a way to come back around, and you go learn them. You can get up and you can move to Atlanta. You can get up, you can move to Cali. You can get up and you can move to Texas. But at some point, you will have to stand in the mirror and face that. And you gonna have to deal with that. And start asking yourself and stop blaming everybody else. So I wanted to come back today, and I know this is like there's a real intensity tone in my voice on this today, but it's just that serious right now. It's like gloves are off. So that's even a challenge that I have for any men that might be listening to this. Like go back in your circles. Like I had to go back and reevaluate my circle of people around me. Friends, family, everybody. But the most important person that's being evaluated right now is Marcus. Marcus' motives in life, Marcus' reasons in life, why you doing what you're doing. Are you focused on what you're doing? Are you listening to things that may be coming up that you're just maybe too arrogant to hear? What are you doing? Because there's always another level of maturity that we can go up to. There's always another level of life that you can grow into. So that's my time for today for this episode. Again, I appreciate everybody who's listening to it. When I come back on the next episode, I have a lot of things brewing that's coming out. I think one thing that has shifted in this podcast is there's going to be a lot of my heart talking versus a lot of my head talking. Um, Doing a lot of talking from the heart, and yeah. And as long as this podcast is going, I promise you, it will be authentic conversations. It will be honest conversations. Again, I'm looking for always for feedback. So We are streaming YouTube, Spotify, Castbox, Apple Tunes. Um, we are all of that. Amazon Music. You can find me on Instagram, Adult Black Dad on Instagram. You can find me at A Smothers on Facebook. Shoot me a message if you got some topics that you think we should talk about, areas of life that we should hit. Hey, I might bring you on and we can hit them together. But I am here for the growth and the development of us as men so we can continue to just grow and be good people. So again, I'm out. Until next time, this has been Marcus Smothers, Adult Black Dad, The Perfect Storm. Yep.